So this video is a part 2 of the common lies I said we all need to disbelieve about healthy living. As I was sharing this point, I had the point 1, which was healthy living. You can eat anything you want and still lose weight and still be healthy. That's a lie, of course. Number 2, we talked about how healthy living is expensive. Of course, it's not expensive if you do not have the money. We also talked about how cooking is a waste of time. And I'm like, nope, cooking ain't a waste of time. And in that video, I gave us some benefits of cooking. I talked about doing another video where I'll just hype and gas up cooking so that we can all start to enjoy cooking. And this is that video, but I'll also be sharing the 4th point I wanted to share in the previous video. So we'll talk about cooking and we'll talk about one more lie we need to disbelieve when it comes to your healthy living and journey. Okay, so fun fact, you wouldn't even believe this. When I recorded the part 1, we recorded it till the very end. But when I was in editing, I realized that at some point the audio went aft. I think it had something to do with the space on my recording device, on my camera. So it just went out. And I'm like, oh, the joys of being a content creator. Like literally, this was like a couple of weeks after. That's when I realized it. And I'm like, oops, we got to do it again. So we cut up that video at the 3rd point. And now we're doing another one. Let me tell you, this video is going to be so good because we're going to gas up and hype up cooking. You're going to love to cook. And we're going to share that 4th point. So if you're ready, I'm ready. So let's take it away, the absolute joys of cooking. Shalom, shalom, best lifers. Welcome to Your Best Life with Asiaha. My name is Asiaha Balajiolaja and I'm a health coach. Right here on Your Best Life with Asiaha, we talk faith, we talk family, and we talk healthy living and fitness. And this is definitely a healthy living video, and we are putting the spotlight on cooking. So thank you for being here. Let us jump right in. In the previous video, like I said, this is a part 2, so you want to check out part 1 so that you are up to speed. So in the previous video, I already talked about the many benefits of cooking, so we're not going to go into that again. I'm just going to expound on other parts of cooking because my goal is to get you to enjoy cooking and debunk some lies and myths about cooking that we may have brought from Jesus knows where into our beautiful, amazing lives today. Okay, so first, a little bit of history. In the past, in the olden days, like my son would always remind me, in the olden days, cooking was typically left for slaves. So cooking was associated with slavery. And if you think about it, if you had domestic help as a child growing up, almost all, if not all of the cooking was typically left to that domestic help, right? So cooking was seen as this thing that was, for people who were sort of lower on the social ladder. And even think about what you wear to cook. Don't want to cook sometimes, just wear like the old, torn, dirty, clothes that are not even fancy at all. And I'm not saying you should be all fancy like me to go and be cooking, but cooking was just wear anything and go in. And side note, Winnie of Delicious did this fantastic video, which you can see right now. She did this fantastic video and she talked about stop dressing anyhow into the kitchen, like make your kitchen time amazing. She gave us fashionable yet simple outfits we can wear to cook. So cooking, so that's what cooking was like in the olden days. Now today, the convenience industry has made us believe that cooking is a waste of time. Like you don't have time to cook. Cooking is tiring. Cooking is boring. Cooking takes time. You can use that time for other stuff. Advertisers are like, you don't have the time to cook. So they're always encouraging us to buy this premium crap that is packed and boxed and packaged and processed because you don't have time to cook. So just see some of the things that are really reinforcing what it is we believe about cooking. At first, it was for slaves. Now, you don't have time to cook because you're busy. And I'm wondering, what are we even really busy doing? We're busy Netflixing. I already talked about that, so I'm never going to go in that direction today. So on the flip side, we must also admit that the cooking industry is starting to get an even better reputation, from the procurement to the purchasing to the preparation, all of that. You know what, with the fancy food bloggers and the influencers and the chefs and the Food Network, so thanks to them, cooking is getting a better reputation, which is good. But an issue with that could be like, if you look at it and be like, oh my goodness, I don't have all these fancy gadgets, I don't have a white kitchen, I don't have all of this space. In fact, this cooking is just too much wahala. So it's either you're thinking it's for the slaves, like I'm too big to cook, or well, I cannot cook as fancy as these people, so why do I even have to bother? So all of that are just making cooking fall lower and lower and lower on the scale, and you just feel like cooking has no benefits. But listen, you don't have to put all of that pressure on yourself. First of all, you don't have to believe the lies that cooking is for people on the lower end of the social spectrum. You also don't have to put in all that pressure on yourself, like you need all this fancy gadgets and all of that fancy stuff. You actually don't need it. You can make your own cooking about you. Wherever you are on this journey, you can own the process. You can enjoy it without breaking a bank. Cooking is not tiring. Cooking is not burdensome. Cooking is not time consuming. Let me tell you, cooking is high quality leisure. I'm telling you, there's physical, there's emotional, there's mental benefits that you get when you cook. And it's not only about the outcome of your food, meaning fancy food and all of that. No, it's even not about the gadgets that you use to cook, so you don't need all the fancy ones. It's actually about the process of your cooking. Like, no kidding, the process is even more important than every other thing. And that's why I want to focus on what do you get from the process of cooking. Like I said, it's high quality leisure that impacts a lot, even on your mental health. Our distractions these days negatively affect our mental health, so it just makes sense that we start to embrace something that is kinder to our mental health, and cooking is really one of those. There's actually essential pleasure, literally, no kidding, that comes from the physical manipulation when you cook. I'm talking washing and dicing and cutting and manipulating and kneading and all of that you do with your hand. I'm not kidding, there's essential pleasure that comes from it. So it's not just physical, there's something it's doing to your mind as you're involved in that process of cooking. Even the researching of food. For example, you want to cook something you haven't made before and you go on YouTube, there's a pleasure and a joy that comes from it. There's even the gratification of seeing the outcome of all of your processes. You're seeing the outcome, like, oh my gosh, I made this thing. There's the joy that comes from watching people enjoy what it is that you have created. As a mother, for example, I love when my kids enjoy my food. I love when my husband enjoys my food. I truly love it. There's a joy that comes from that. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, they can get the same joy if someone else made the food. Of course, I agree they can get the same joy, but there's a different kind of joy that comes when you cooked that food. Even you eating it, there's a different kind of joy that comes then. There's also a part of cooking that gives us this mental stimulation, especially when you're trying something new for the first time, or you were trying an old meal in a new way, which is why you want to try new things from time to time. It requires a higher level of concentration. It requires brutal focus, because you're focused. You've not tried it before. For example, if you don't bake and you want to bake, look, your entire senses are involved in it. I'm not a baker. When I started to learn to bake, my goodness, it would take everything from me. You're so focused. And let me tell you, when you work so hard, you need leisure that really helps you to disconnect completely. Because your leisure cannot be like scrolling through your phone. Your leisure has helped you disconnect. And my leadership hero, Craig Rochelle, talked about how because he worked so hard, he had to start to do this high quality leisure jiu-jitsu. I don't even know if I pronounced that right, but it's like this intense fight. And it talks about how when you're doing jiu-jitsu, you are focused. Like, you literally cannot be distracted. You cannot be thinking about work, because you could just they can just blow you and you disappear. So you're so focused. So cooking, especially something new, is something that just causes you to focus, and that's what happens when I'm trying something new. So you want to try. You've been cooking with stock cubes, and now you're like, I want to do better for my family and for my health. I want to stand strong against this health crisis that is coming, and you want to take away stock cubes from your life, of which I definitely have a course to help you do that, so you can check that in the link below. When you start to cook without stock cubes, every part of your mind is so mentally stimulated, like no kidding. You are so focused on it. You're focused on trying to get the best out of your meals. You make mistakes. Like I said, it's the process. It's the process and the outcome of it. So that mental stimulation, you can get it from that high quality leisure that is cooking. So now you're probably thinking, oh, I don't have the time. Like, I truly don't have the time to be cooking every day. How can I be putting in all this effort into my everyday cooking? Who is telling you to put in all this effort into your everyday cooking? I'm definitely not saying that, because I said cooking is high quality leisure, right? When you have leisure, do you do your leisure every day? For example, your leisure is like horse riding or polo or playing golf or even swimming. You don't swim every day. So for me, it's the balance of cooking as a chore, which is like I have to do it every day. I have to eat. That's fine. But there's also cooking as high quality leisure, where you're like, you know what? I'm going to try and create this meal. I'm going to be involved in the entire physical manipulation, from the cutting and the blending and the cooking and the frying and the toasting and the touching. I'm going to be involved. I'm going to go and research about it. I'm going to present something to myself or to my family or to my friends when they come to visit me. So do you see? Don't just exclude cooking from your life. Like, nope, it's not about me. Especially if you are now wasting time on other things that really don't help you, your mental health, your physical health. Nope. Just try cooking. You actually would like it. Trust me, you will. I also want you to start to think about being strategic about the time you invest in cooking, because yes, it can be time consuming if you're not wise about it. And I'm going to talk about it in the fourth point when I get there. It can be time consuming, but if you're strategic, you'll be able to just manipulate time and just realize that it just fits in nicely into your schedule. Also, the more you practice cooking as high quality leisure, and by that I mean the frequency of it, you actually start to get better, and it starts to get easier, and you realize that what used to take you a longer time now takes you a shorter time, because you're now becoming a pro at it. For example, there was a time when I just thought it was impossible to blend my own coconut to make coconut milk for coconut rice. Like, impossible. I remember a friend of mine telling me that, that she doesn't buy like that powder and tinned coconut milk, that she makes it. And I'm like, that's so hard, like that's so impossible. But as time went on and I realized that I could do better by my family and by my own health, I started to make it, and now it's so easy. Like, at the drop of a hat, I can just make my coconut milk without having to buy. So yes, it definitely does get easier. I remember food you cook in your home is tastier. Food you cook in your home is healthier. Food you cook in your home you can trust. Food you cook in your home costs less, especially if you are trying to, just be a better steward of your finances. Okay, I hope I've been able to convince you that cooking can be a part of life. It's not for low-income people. It's not tiring. It's not time-consuming. You can actually be strategic about the time you invest in cooking. Okay, that's it about cooking. Now, my fourth point. Remember, we already have 3 points, and this is the part 2 video, so you can go check out those 3. My fourth point is, you need variety, because monotony is boring. Overwhelm really comes from having too many choices, too many options, and then you're just like, I don't know which one to choose, and then you're overwhelmed. On this healthy living journey, and if you're trying to lose weight, at the beginning, you're better off, embracing monotony to a large extent, without trying to, eat different meals every day. No. In fact, most of my successful weight loss clients talk about just embracing monotony, meaning that I'm going to eat this for the next 5 days. And it's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. This variety culture, you have to be very careful about it. And side note, on YouTube here, there's because I do a lot of workout videos on YouTube, and then sometimes you have that as the caption, no repeats. And I'm like, why do they have to no repeat? Like, it's okay to repeat. Like, I repeat taking my bath every day, and it's okay. I repeat brushing my teeth every day, and it's okay. Well, repetition is a part of life. So that's just an aside. So be very careful of variety. Personally, I practice monotony or phased monotony, meaning that because I say I'm strategic, I cannot spend time cooking variety and just being overwhelmed. And nope, I spend time. I could just decide that in 1 week, I will eat the same thing for dinner or the same thing for breakfast. That way, I can, invest time in cooking bulk of that, shopping for the bulk of that, cooking that way, and then I can just repeat it. Then the next week I could change it. That's phased monotony, and it works. You don't always have to be thinking of variety all the time. You can consider monotony, especially if you don't have the time to invest in variety, because variety does take time for real. So I really want to say to you, if you're trying to lose weight, stop looking for nutrition plans that have no repeats, like you just have different things all the time. It can truly overwhelm you at the beginning. Now, as time goes on, and if your life and season and pocket permits it, you can go into a lot of variety. But for me, I just prefer to keep things simple. I just repeat the same thing all week, go to the next week, something else that's different, and I make sure I'm getting food from all the classes of food, right? So if any of the points I have mentioned somehow have been limiting and stopping you from your journey to healthy living and weight loss, you want to debunk those lies now. The lie of you can eat anything and still lose weight, that's a lie. The lie of, oh, healthy living is expensive, that's a huge lie. The lie of cooking is a waste of time, huge lie. The lie of you need variety because monotony is boring, that's a huge lie. Now that I have helped you debunk those lies, I believe that you are ready to start on this fantastic journey. Come on, because you deserve to build a for-purpose body. You deserve to stand strong against the health crisis that is coming. You deserve to have this healthy body that is strong and it is sickness-free and is at an ideal weight range, and it nourishes itself properly with right foods, fruits and vegetables, and it has the ability to exercise. That's your for-purpose body. You deserve to build that. So I hope that you will gift yourself the amazing gift of a healthy body, and not just you, also your children. On this channel, you can be sure to get fantastic premium content that would help you start and stay on this healthy living journey. As a health coach, I have a story. I lost 30 kg in about 4 months, and I shared my story right here in this free ebook, so you can download it below and enjoy right now. If this video was amazing, if it was helpful, I'd really love to hear from you. If you'd like to drop a comment, that'd be great. I would appreciate that. If you'd love to like it, please like it. It helps us spread word. It helps us reach people more. And then if you would spread to your friends, oh my goodness, that would be a gift. Literally, I'd really appreciate that. So I'll see you in my next video. Until then, I'm leaving you with the shalom of God, which is his perfect peace. Because listen, girl, the prayer of shalom contains all of the prayers. God bless you. You need variety, because so now that you have debunked those lies, I believe that now that you have debunked those, if this video, as a health coach, at the beginning, you're better off being, what's the word now? Because if you cannot afford it, just skip this if you can afford part.